Let me just take you guys in, and you can take me in too. Thank you. Life is good. Life is good. So it's been a minute. I mean, the last time I was here was September, and can you believe it's been that long? So I have to fill you in. So the last time I spoke here, I was getting ready to go and speak in Charlottesville, Virginia with Marianne Williamson. So those of you who don't know who Marianne Williamson is, she is one of the spiritual teachers of our generation, like Deepak Chopra and so many others, Michael Beckwith. She really was the eye-opener for me because she wrote the book Return to Love back in the 90s. And it was one of the first spiritual self-help books that really kind of said, you know, we're loved, but we've forgotten who we are. And so Marianne Williamson was doing a church-hopping kind of speaking engagement last year. And she was at the Center for Spiritual Living in Las Vegas. And the people called me, they said, you know, we noticed you hadn't bought a ticket to Marianne Williamson. Are you going to come see her? And I said to them, I'm not going to come see Marianne Williamson until I'm on the same ticket with her. And I'm speaking with her. 2 months later, I got a call that said, can you speak in Charlottesville? You're going to be on the program with Marianne Williamson. God is amazing. This universe is amazing. We don't realize how much power we have until it just floors us. And we go, what the heck? Did I put that out there and did it come back and slap me in the face? Yes.
I don't think it was a slap.
Well, it was a wonderful kiss on the face, wasn't it? Oh my goodness. But it just feels so, you know, goose pimply when those things happen. And I'm grateful for them. So I'm going to be going to Charlottesville. I'm going to be meeting with Marianne Williamson. And Charlottesville, Virginia was where the Nazi demonstration was. I'm going to be speaking with Unity ministers at this Eastern Conference. What am I going to talk about? Well, I'm going to be talking about race. I'm going to be talking about fear. I'm going to be talking about that in the epicenter of this crisis that we're in. And I am just going to be excited and full of God juice. And he's going to be filling me. I'm going to be filling myself with these words. And I'm going to be talking about this. Because you don't usually go to a spiritual conference and hear about race. You hear about a lot of flowery stuff and you hope that you can incorporate it into your life. But do you really hear about Nazis? And do you hear about the hook that is the U.S. when it comes to divisive measures and how we're so ripe for this and people know that and that's how they control us? Do we really talk about those things? And so I had to answer, no, we don't. So I guess I'm it. I'm going to be doing it. And so I go there in September and I start talking about who we really are. And everybody's just eating it up, you know. We're love, we're light, we're bliss. That was the first day. I was there for 4 days. Second day, I start talking about, but you have a lot of fear. You have a lot of prejudice. You have a lot of prejudgments and stereotypes of black people, of Muslims, of women, of all of these things. And you, and I'm talking about ministers here, you villainize people. You say those are the good guys and those are the bad guys. And as soon as you do that, there's a hook. I got you. As soon as you polarize people and say, so-and-so in the White House is such an evil person, I got you. Because if you think that person is evil, there's something in you. Okay. This is where I lose people. Wait a minute, not me. I've been going to Center for Spiritual Living for 5 years, dang it. I know Ernest Holmes. There's something in you that is just like that. Now, the second day when I start talking about that, what I didn't know is that the third day, people were angry with me. Because as soon as you start revealing things and people have to go home and sit with something that's uncomfortable, they don't like the messenger. I was fine before you start talking. I was fine before you start showing me that, because then I had to look at my sister that I haven't talked with in 2 weeks because I'm angry with her. I have to look at that lie that I told the other day. It was a white lie. You see how we colorize even our lies. But, you know, it's not like the lies that are being told on the news and on the White House. It's not that. Why are you showing me this when that over there is so horribly wrong? And people don't want to look at themselves. And these are ministers I'm talking with. So the third day we had a break. And then the fourth day, I spoke again. And I talked about how do we look at ourselves with compassion? How do we look at the things that we do and that we've learned to do over time with compassion? A lot of these things that we have within us, they're not even ours. Our parents gave it to us. Our culture gave it to us. The structure, the way the structure is that we live in, gave it to us. And if we were okay and we survived, we don't look at the people that were really damaged by the system. And so by us not looking at it, we're culpable, because there's something in us that said it was okay, as long as I'm okay, as long as I got by. Well, that didn't really harm me. We're doing good. And then we can't see another person that was damaged by it or put back by it or stopped by it. And so we need to look at ourselves with compassion, and we can't do that if we're looking at somebody else with the evil eye. Do you see that it's all a part of the package? That the same compassion we use to look at ourselves with a magnifying glass is the same compassion that we have to look at the world. And there's something else that happens when we start looking at ourselves and picking ourselves apart with compassion, not with anger, not with shame, and not even with guilt, but with compassion. We can't help but draw that to us from the outside world because we're matching the vibration of compassion. Now, this is deep, but not for you guys, because you've been coming to Center for Spiritual Living for 5 years or whatever. So you know that healing has to take place from the inside out. But here's the good news. This is our time. I don't know if you know this, but Marianne Williamson declared that she is running for President of the United States in 2020 on the Democratic ticket. And she says that it's time for our evolution to be love and compassion. And somebody asked her, why don't you talk about the person in the White House? Why don't you talk about what he's doing? He says, this is about systems, and the systems within us that keep the system outside of us going. She's speaking our language. She's not villainizing somebody, because as soon as you get rid of one person, you'll replace it with another. As soon as you villainize him, okay, I'll put on my cape, I'll get rid of him, but then there'll be somebody else that'll crop up and I'll have to put on that cape again. But why can't I put on that cape and hand you the cape as well. Because what we're fighting is not people. We're fighting structures within us that we don't even recognize until we see it outside of us in a villain. So the fourth day, I'm talking about compassion. I'm talking about loving ourselves, loving those parts of us that we see in other people, but it's so easy to see it in them and not us. I asked my sister, I said, you know, people are talking about this person lying. I was like, have you lied? Did you lie today? Did you lie yesterday? Did you do a small manipulation? Did you hold the truth knowing that if you didn't say the truth, the other person would assume something else? And so you let them assume it because it benefited you. It wasn't the truth, but I didn't tell them the truth. Did you ever manipulate? Did you ever say something so another person would think something else so that you could get away with something? We act like, oh my God. And I said, yeah, I remember doing that. Yeah, I've done that. What caused me to do it? That's what I want to get at. Was I afraid of being less than? Was I afraid of, what was I afraid of? Those are the tough questions that I have to ask myself with compassion. Oh, and with humor. I use humor a lot when I'm doing my surgery on me. Karmen, that was just ridiculous. What were you thinking? How could you have handled that differently? How could I have been in the now instead of in my mom's head where she was in survival? She wanted to know. So Karmen, when that happened at school, she would ask me, when they punished you, was the person white or black? She would ask me these things. Why do you think she'd ask me these things? Because it meant something if they were black, and it meant something else if they were white. So I grew up with this. It's not mine, it's my mom's. It was her survival. Do I need to carry it with me? I could if I was unconscious, but I'm conscious. I know that you're me and I'm you. I've got this kind of coating on. That's for your growth. Excuse me, let me say that again. I've got this kind of coating on. It's for your growth. And mine, we're growing at the same time. So if I want to carry my mom's stuff into this incarnation, surely I could. And you could carry yours too. But guess what you're going to get? More of the same. More of the same fear. More of the same conflict. More of the same control. And it takes you being uncomfortable and then going in, doing the surgery with humor and compassion. So on the fourth day, I had ministers coming up to me. Karmen, I was so angry with you at the second day. At the third day, I had a chance to kind of sit with it, but I was still avoiding you. But on the fourth day, I'm ready. I'm ready for the next level. Because we can play this game of spirituality forever. We have till infinity. I mean, there's no hurry. You can take your time. You can play that game, or you can be the God that you've been waiting to save you. You can be that second coming of Jesus. Or you can wait for somebody else to be it. Good luck with that. It's stepping into your power. It's stepping into the compassion that you give yourself, and you see it. You begin to see it outside of yourself. You bring light into this world instead of wandering around in darkness, wondering who's going to turn on the light. Why isn't there light? Why aren't things changing? And we haven't even looked in the abyss that is ourselves. Let's take a deep breath. On the last day, I was just beaming because I was giving my talk about this is our time. This is our time because we get it. We are supposed to be the ones that get it, that get the light within us, and then we can project it onto the world. Instead of projecting our hatred and projecting our stuff, we project the light onto the world. And we are the people that we've been waiting for. But it takes us, and it takes us being uncomfortable. Oh, that's not me. Did that really come out of my mouth? Did I really think that when that person walked by? Did I really clutch my purse? Was that really me? Oh my gosh. Okay, it was me. Wow, where does that come from? It's those deep questions that we need to start asking rather than looking outside of ourselves and saying, oh my gosh, the governor of Virginia had blackface and everything, and that was in the yearbook since 1984, and I didn't really notice it because I've got so much stuff within me that was kind of normal. Now it's a big deal.
Somebody needs to say, preach it.
Amen. Amen. But doesn't it go back to what's within me? What have I got going on? What do I got? And I have to ask those questions of myself. Where did that come from? Came from my mom. Came from my dad. Came from the news at the time. It came from all those other stuff. But what comes from God? Love, compassion, being in the now, erasing the past, erasing the constructs. So by the end of that conference, we had dealt with some stuff. It wasn't flowery. We had gone into the abyss, and I had gone in there with them. Because you need someone to show you that you're okay, you're loved, even though you have those thoughts. You're okay, you're precious. Let's go through this together. In the United States, we've always talked about having a conversation about race, but no one has ever wanted to go into the abyss. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. And if you go in there knowing that you're loved and you're held and you're coddled, it's so much better. And that's what God, the God within you, wants you to feel loved and coddled while you're excavating the madness. And then you project the light instead of projecting the madness out. We need to realize that it's not somebody else. It's us. It's us. So this is our time. When you see the crazy outside of yourself, just know that this is our time to look inward. And we have to do mind over matter. This is a song that really speaks to that in kind of an NFL way. It's kind of like a Like it gets you in the mood of, yes, this is our time. I'm putting on my cape. I'm not going to tear you down. I'm going to give you one also. We are the heroes that we've been looking for. And so this song, it's our time.
I take a breath, I'm not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do. I walk that wire and I take that step. Won't look down, got no regrets. Won't look down, got no regrets. I was made for this.
We were made for this.
Yes, we were.
Yes. We were made to go through the evolutionary process of having those human thoughts and then transforming them into divinity, because we're divine. What holds us back from being all that we can be but our thoughts? Our crazy thoughts. And what are they? Just look outside of yourself. That's them. So we were made for this moment in time. One of the things Marianne Williamson stressed is that spiritual people, there's a time when we're going to be acting. We're going to be the front line. We're going to be on the front line. And she's calling people that have the knowledge that we do to be on the front line. Now, that's not unusual. There are many spiritual leaders like Gandhi, Martin Luther King. These people called people to be on the front line, and they called them from the church. Why is that? Because the power that we have, it's powerful. When you know who you are, you're powerful. They came from a non-violent, I'm not going to knock you in the head just because you knocked me in the head. If I knock you in the head, I'd be knocking me in the head. That's a weird way of saying that, isn't it? But you understand what I'm saying. Is that we know that if I am violent towards you, then I'm violent towards me. Let's take it a little deeper. If I have an offensive thought towards you, I have an offensive thought towards me. That's how powerful thoughts are. We know how powerful the physical act of hitting somebody in the head, but there is an act to an offensive thought. Our thoughts are powerful, and they affect us. So when we see someone with offensive thoughts that have power, they affect us, just like ours affects other people and us. I can't re-emphasize and us. When I was little, I remember watching TV, and there would be people marching, and they would be singing this song, "We Shall Overcome." I didn't exactly know what that meant. I didn't particularly like the song because I didn't understand it. At first, as I got older, I thought maybe they were talking about we shall overcome and we'll start eating at a lunch counter. Let's take it deeper, because we have evolved since then. I certainly have, especially in this religious science. What they were saying is that we shall overcome the fear that keeps everyone in bondage. We shall overcome our human condition that only sees this person that is against me, and I'm going to overcome and rise above that and see that this person with the mean face that wants to do me harm is my brother who doesn't know who he is. So I've got to rise above that because I need to know who I am in order to know him. So I've got to overcome what my eyes see, and I've got to rely on my heart and the sense of God that's within me. I want that to speak louder than the matter that I see outside of me. So it's mind over matter. I shall overcome all of this. Not necessarily the material. I've got to transcend this into the spiritual realm where everything is love and compassion. I've got to overcome this hate that is coming towards me. I've got to go to a different realm. I shall overcome this situation here and go to somewhere that people really haven't experienced on this plane, but I'm going to experience it now, and most Buddhists and sages have experienced this in meditation. So I've got to overcome it in a non-violent way because I'm in a realm where there is no violence. You are still in this other realm. If I engage in that with you, that means that I have not overcome the mindset that you have right now. I shall overcome is very deep, but let me just say this to you now. We have evolved to a point where it is not I shall overcome, it has to be I have overcome. If you are not there yet, don't worry. I love you. You are loved. You are cared for. You are bliss. You are wonderful. But I want you to see that you are me. Let's take a deep breath. Let's have this meditation time where we can take everything in.
I
powerful. You are joy. You are bliss. And you are the one. And so it is.
Dr. Karmen Smith, everybody.